Welcome back to the OC story. This is part 3, I think. 4, 3. I'm not sure. I'm filming this very quickly because I almost forgot. So, this week we are carrying on with the story about Dewnup, the little guy that I made for you guys. So you guys have helped me to create this story. I have taken a load of your song suggestions and I've put them into a playlist. I'm hitting shuffle and then I'm using the lyrics and the songs to guide what happens next. Dewnup is on an adventure. He is looking for his missing friend Lilliput. He has met some new friends on the way. 2 of them are now with him. He has got a sort of stick insect fairy friend and he's got a sort of witch as well with her little hedgehogs. But they are all very, very tiny creatures and they're now in a massive, massive world. They are following the trails of glitter to follow where these glowing orbs went, where all the flowers have bloomed, showing their path because they think this is where Lilliput has gone, following the glowing paths. Apparently also, when you get to the end of this glowing path, it is a place where the sun and the moon, who are lovers in this universe, finally get to meet sometimes. And if you get there, if you follow the lights all the way there, then you get granted your heart's desire. You get granted a wish. And so the thought is that even if they don't find Lilliput, then they can ask for a wish, which will be to find Lilliput. So either way, the journey will hopefully come to an end. But they have reached a sort of, I'm going to say impasse, where they have met a magical, mystical wall that they can't quite get through, and there is a voice talking to them, and this voice is about to take shape and form. Let's find out who they are then and carry on with a shuffled song on the playlist. Let's go. So, quick refresher about whoever it is, this voice, this creature, this person. They are intensely lonely, they have a magic about them that shimmers, and it's been making Dewnup and his friends have sort of visions of their happiest moments and recalling happy things. This creature, person, whatever they end up being, they are lonely because they are looking for their friends and it's been a really long time. Somehow they are stuck where they are right now and they are calling out saying, "Is it you? Is it you?" And they are intensely lonely. Sorry, everything started to fall. All right, so here we go. I'm going to hit shuffle on the playlist and then we're going to see what song pops up and we will decide from there. What does this creature entity thing look like? Who are they looking for? I'm thinking maybe if they're missing friends, maybe they went missing in the similar way to Lilliput. They might all end up being in the same place. What do you guys reckon? All right, so here we go. I'm going to do about 3 songs today because I don't have a lot of time, so we're going to do just a little snippet. But anyway, here we go. Who picked this? Okay, so this is Nemo the Code from a marvellous, marvellous Eurovision. So, the lyrics are these. Welcome to the show, let everybody know. I'm done playing the game, I'll break out of the chains. Okay, so immediately, without even reading any more of the lyrics, I'm done playing the game, I'll break out of the chains. So maybe the reason that this entity is stuck where they are, because there was webbing I described in the last video. There's like webbing and magic and it's sort of all across the exit of this valley. And it's all this sort of shimmery magic so you can't really see beyond it. Maybe they didn't choose that, maybe they are stuck there. Okay, and the webs are like chains, not just for anyone who walks into them, but for them themselves. And it's because of this can't move forward, can't remember where their friends are, can't get over this feeling, and they feel stuck. So maybe they were dragged into it, maybe this feeling created it themselves, but somehow they are stuck. And it's not them casting all this evil, or not quite evil magic, but yeah, they haven't chosen to be here, so they want to break out of these chains. That's what they're trying to do. Okay, you better buckle up. I'll pour another cup. This is my poem, so drink it on my friend. This story is my truth. I went to hell and back to find myself on track. I broke the code. Okay. Now, unlike the assassin story, which is still being written down into a book, I'm on chapter 8 now, very exciting. So unlike that story, this story is not going to have a lot of angst and darkness and grittiness because I just don't want that to happen to Dewnup. He deserves better than that. So I went to hell and back. It's not going to be a literal I went to hell and back. It's going to be more, it could be either metaphorical or it could be the closest that this world has to a hell. So somewhere dangerous, they went to a dangerous, dark place, maybe an emotional place, maybe literally a place, but they went to somewhere dark and dangerous and they struggled through with all of their friends and maybe they came out on the other side and somehow their friends were all missing. But as far as they knew, they were right behind them, right next to them. They'd all been pulled out of, maybe vines and trees in this big tall forest, because this is a huge, huge, vast place. So maybe they'd done that and they thought everyone was with them, but they weren't. And they came out into this valley and maybe the friends and this creature, maybe they came from the other side of the valley and they were coming towards the forest that our adventurers have come from. But they never made it that far because they got stuck, because they turned around and all they saw was the view behind them where they had come from. And maybe there's no forest. Maybe there's no forest at all. Maybe they thought they had just pulled themselves out of bogs and through trees and through brambles, and they got to the top of this hill and they got to look over this valley and they went, wow, we're free, turned around, all their friends are missing, and the forest they thought they'd just come through is also missing. All right, I like that. I broke the code. Just give it some time. I found paradise. So maybe it is pretty. It's a very pretty clearing, this beautiful place of peace and tranquility and all these beautiful bugs and butterflies and things. And they couldn't bear to enjoy it, but they couldn't bear to leave it either because their friends are missing. Let me tell you a tale about life, the good, the bad, hold on tight. Well, they're holding on tight to the good and the bad. They're remembering all these memories. Who decides what's wrong, what's right? Everything is balance, everything is light. Everything is balance, everything is light. Have I used this song before? I feel like I've used Everything is Balance, Everything is Light before. I don't remember. It's been a while. We're making new things anyway. Okay, so everything is balanced and everything is light. Maybe that's what this creature is trying to be now. They're trying to be this light in the world and to hold on to their friends' memories. And if they can just stay here and wait, if I can stay here and wait, then they'll come back. And if I, reach out for them, which as they sort of manifested into their own emotion, really. So they sort of lost themselves and became just a disembodied voice. They reached out and all these magical spindly webs reached out too, like hands reaching to try and grab for their friends who are not there. And eventually it spread all the way across this valley, across the top bit, so no one else can pass by, and it just captures anyone that walks past. But the intent was good, but it's now turned into something that's quite bad. I've got so much on my mind, been awake at night, I'm pumped, I'm psyched, it's bigger than me, I'm getting so hyped, taste the lows and highs, burning fright, this story is my truth, I went to hell and back. Okay, so yeah, this is what I'm getting for this character. So they are... I'm not sure yet. I'm getting sort of nymphy vibes, but I feel like that's maybe what they've turned into now. What they used to be could have been an elf or a dwarf or a human. I might leave that up to you guys to interpret. Maybe we never see them how they used to look. Maybe all they are now is a disembodied voice. And it's not horrible, but it is sort of almost a death in a way, and they need to get past what has happened to them and sort of overcome those feelings before they can actually move on properly. So they're sort of stuck like this now. All right, so what's going to happen next? Let's find out. Oh yes, Take On Me by Aha. Who picked this one? You absolute glorious bastard. I'll let it get to that bit. The intro's longer than I thought. Alright, so let's look up the lyrics for Aha, Take On Me. We're talking away, I don't know what to say. I say it anyway. Today's another day to find you, shying away. Oh, I'll be coming for you, love. Okay, take on me. I'll be gone in a day or two. Sorry, day or two. So needless to say, I'm odds and ends, but I'll be stumbling away, slowly learning that life is okay. Say after me, it's no better to be safe than sorry. Okay, so maybe they have a conversation with this entity creature voice. They're all sort of still in that sort of daze of having seen really good memories, and this voice is calling out and saying, well, you're not the friends I'm looking for. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And maybe Dewnup is the first one to talk and says, like, oh, are you looking for someone too? I'm looking for my friend Lilliput. Have you seen her? And this creature says, I don't think so. They haven't seen anyone, but that can't be true because many people must have come past this way, and these webs clearly didn't spring up overnight. This web has been here for a while, and they start to realize that people have been trapped in this web and stuck or turned around, and that they have caused hurt, not necessarily death, but they've caused people to have to cut their way through or go a different way or get lost or stuck or something like this. They've had to climb over. Yeah, I don't want to lean into the death. If I was in another universe, I would, but in this one, I'm not going to. So they have turned people away. People have had to go on longer routes. People have been thought to be missing because this is the fastest way to go through this valley. And they talk about how, well, the flowers and the lights and the glitter, it's all leading through here. Are you sure? You haven't seen anyone? And through this conversation, the voice slowly starts to realize that even if their friends had come through here, they wouldn't have recognized them anyway, because all they've turned into is just this aching loss for what was once there. And it turns out that maybe this was many years ago. Maybe this was over a century ago. And it turns out that this was many years ago. Maybe it was over a decade ago. Their friends wouldn't recognize them now. Would they recognize their friends even now? And maybe this realization is what is needed. They don't get a resolution necessarily, but they do slowly manage to sort of unattach and detract the webs. And maybe they turn into sort of like whisper of smoke and glitter, and they sort of glide around the group and they decide to go with them, because if they can find the place where the two lovers met, then they will all get a wish. And maybe they can ask to find out what happened to their friends and then get a sense of that closure so they can move along. Take on me. All the things that you say is life just to play my worries away. You're all the things I've got to remember. You're shying away. I'm coming for you anyway. Okay, so yeah, you're all the things I've got to remember. I feel like this episode might just be just exploring this character. So all the things I've got to remember. And that's how they're feeling. They're remembering their friends, but also they can't. And the more they think about it, they can't even picture their faces. They can't remember what their voices sounded like. And it's sad. It's really sad, particularly to them. But they get invited to come along with everyone on this journey, and they say, of course, we'll share the wishes with you. Of course, we can help. Because, well, Dewnup is missing a friend too, and poor Stimper is missing his fiancée, and the witch is pretty chill, to be honest, but, she's very happy to have more people come along with them, and so this creature never really takes a form. I think that's what we've decided. They sort of turn into a wisp of smoke, and they swirl around the group. They do eventually completely disintegrate these webs, and at the invitation to come with them, they all then look out over this new place. And we know it isn't a forest, but what is it? Somehow, the next song is going to tell us. All right, no pressure, Spotify. What's the next song? Describe to me the view. I really don't think we should use this song, but okay. Hell's coming with me. All right. Well, it does describe a valley, and maybe I had this one coming. They all laughed as he turned around and slowly they said, "You ain't welcome anymore around here. You may as well just go." He wiped the blood from his face and slowly came to his knees. He said, "I'll be back when you least expect it, and hell's coming with me, hell's coming with me." We are going to veto that for this story. There's a hill at the bottom of the valley. Okay, so we're getting a description. So they look out, they've just climbed a hill to get to the top, the edge of this valley, and they look out and they see some trees, obviously, they see a lot of trees, but it's not a forest, it's more sort of scattered here and there. There might be more forests on the horizon, but it's quite far away. This next patch of land is very, very grassy, very floral, and they see another hill. Maybe it's taller than the one that they're on right now, maybe it's a little bit smaller. And there's a town at the bottom of the hill. Okay, so there's a town. There is a town at the bottom of the hill. So maybe they're looking down and they see another hill, and at the foot of that they see a town. And that maybe seems to be where the lights are leading. Maybe it's an old town, as in it looks run down. Yes, I don't think it looks like it's populated. I think it's an old one, not in a spooky, wooky, dangerous way, more in a people moved on. They maybe didn't enjoy living at the bottom of the hill. Maybe they didn't get a lot of sunlight. Maybe the crops couldn't grow very well. And so the houses were abandoned. They're all sort of made of stone and straw and brick and things. And they're slowly crumbling. They've been overtaken by ivy and nature. And it strangely probably looks quite pretty. It's got lots of birds nesting in it and things. Maybe fairies have built little dens in there too. But it is now being used by all the wildlife. It's no longer used by sort of humanoids. So again, this will be probably quite a big village. All the creatures that we've met, with the possible exception of the wispy creature when they were in their true form, they're all very, very small. I think the witch is the tallest at about... Did we decide she was maybe half a foot tall, something like that, maybe a foot tall? Because Dewnup is about 3 inches tall, just to paint a picture for you. So Dewnup is about 3 inches, I think Stimper's about 5, the witch is about a foot tall, I think, and this wispy thing is just a wispy thing. But when the wispy thing was in its true form, it was probably the size of an elf. So we're talking like 6 feet something. So big bit of wispiness. So this town was probably inhabited by, at the very least, hobbit-sized creatures. So the houses all look huge and massive, but they're looking at it from a big distance. All right, so what else do we know about this town? So they've got a secret. Black magic preacher, don't want to use that. You'll be heading up the hill to the grave. Okay, well, they're not going to go up the hill then. All is well with my soul. You line your pockets full of money you steal from the poor, and on your way down a hill, ring the bell. I'll pay the devil twice as much to keep your soul. Great line, I love that one, but we're not going to use that. So there's a drifter passing through the valley. We will use this. So they spot a drifter. They spot someone or something drifting through the valley. Now, I don't want it to be... It will be literally drifting. They will be literally drifting, but not quite like the wisp. This is a more physical form, but maybe someone who is like floating, a bit like Estek in Critical Role. So sort of drifting, floating like that, but not someone who is sort of ghostly, that kind of thing. Okay, so we've got a drifting person. I want to go... We've already met a lot of elves, so a drifting dwarf will be so funny. I feel like... I'm not going to have black magic preacher, but I might go with preacher. And I'm going to try very hard not to create a character I have who is a cleric right now. So this drifting creature, this drifting shape. They sort of notice and they look and they go, maybe they're looking down at first and Dewnup goes, oh, there's a home. Oh. And they look and they see that it's actually been overtaken by ivy, and they sort of talk about, so no one lives there anymore. Where did they go? And maybe Stimper and the witch talk about how people move on all the time, and so it probably used to be a place where lots of people live, but not now. But they've probably happily moved on. It's absolutely fine. And what to happen next? I think they'll just spot the drifter. Okay, so they spot this drifter drifting along, and at first maybe Dewnup looks and goes, oh, it's another person like you, talking to the misty swirly whirly thing, but then they notice this is more of a corporeal figure who is drifting along. Maybe they've got a big cloak and a sort of big wide-brimmed hat, that kind of thing, and a staff, and the staff is hitting the floor, almost like it's being used to sort of pull them along, but they are drifting and floating. I think that might be where I leave it for today. Alright, so put any other song suggestions in the comments down below. I'll put a thing on Instagram again. Thank you for bearing with me. I've had a few weeks off while I've sorted out many other things. And yeah, so what do you want to know about this drifter person? Shall they go and talk to this drifter person? Shall they avoid them like the plague? I have no idea what's going to happen next. Alright, so yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for sticking with this series, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.